Alright, in this video we're going to go over Unit 1, Lesson 1, and you can find notes to accompany this on Google Classroom. So what we're going to do is define what a function is. So define a function, which is what we're going to basically study all of algebra, what functions are. And different types of them. And we're going to do an example problem. And we're going to create own function. So, all right. First, let's start with this idea of a function as a rule. And this rule, sometimes you can think of as a let's actually make it look a little bit better. This rule, sometimes you'll see it drawn sort of like a machine, where this machine takes some input and it does some rule to it, and then it outputs something. And usually this output is thought of as something that is unique. That means if I put something in, I'm going to get one thing. I can't put something in and get out multiple different things. So for every input, I only get one output. I have to know what happens. So let's look at an example. I like this picture because it really helps solidify this idea. So I'm going to just move that over here. And again, you guys can take notes on just a piece of paper. So this is the first situation. You have $100 in a savings account. And you save $20 a month. I abbreviated month because I ran out of room here. I just put MNTH. I don't even know if that's how it's supposed to be abbreviated. So the question is, how much do you have after 1 month? That's a question. What about 2 months? What about 5 months? Well, if we think about this as a function, what is our input here? We're trying to figure out how much I have saved, and I'm inputting, well, maybe the number of months that I've saved for. So if you think about this, the first one might be kind of easy, right? You have $100 and you save $100 a month. So after 1 month, I should have $120. So if I put in 1 month into this sort of function, what do I get out? I get out 120. 2 months. Well, if I put in 2 months, if I save for 2 months, then I'm going to get out. I'm going to have saved $40. I already had 100, so I'm going to have $140. What would happen if I saved for 5 months? Well, I'd get $20 for every one of those 5 months. So that's 20 times 5, which is going to equal $100. But I already had $100, so I have to add that to 100 that I already had. So let me just erase this and write my $200. And that came from multiplying the 5 months, 5, putting 5 into this function, multiplying it by 20, and adding 100. So one of the things that we want to think about is, what are the numbers? And we're going to give that a special name. We're going to call that constants. It's just a fancy word for just numbers. And what are the variables? And I hope we know what variables are from 7th or 8th grade. These are going to be what? Letters that represent changing numbers. Usually. They can also represent other things, but for now we're going to think of them as that. So what are the numbers? Well, we had $100 in savings. That's a number. And we're saving 20 each week, or not week, month. The variables, what is changing? What is changing? Right? And that's going to be the months. So these functions are usually going to have an input. In this case, the input is months. Not usually, they're always going to have an input. Input in this case is the number of months you've been saving, and the output is the total savings that you have. I'm going to leave you guys with one to try yourself. And you have 200 in savings account. And you spend $10 a week. So I want to know how much you have after 1 week, 2 weeks, and I'm just going to make this one up. It's not directly like this in your notes, but 7 weeks. How much would you have? So try that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.